We've all heard that we should exercise more and eat less, that it's good for our bodies and it's good for our mental health. But how many of us are constantly struggling to get enough exercise, eat the right things on a day to day basis, especially if you're a parent and you're running around to all kinds of practices and you're just trying to get food in your child's stomach before ballet class starts? I want to talk with you today about what the value is in moving for mental health. And I think it's important to understand that it's not just any kind of movement, that there are certain movements that help us more than others, and some that we really need to make an intentional part of our day, but also an intentional part of our children's day so that they can build habits of success, build resilience, build the ability to cope with things that don't go their way and upsets that they're inevitably going to experience. So, when we think about movement, there's different kinds of movement. And we know that things like yoga are supposed to change the brain and help you be calm and reduce stress. And the question is, why do exercises like that have that impact? The answer is that many exercises involve things like rhythm, pressure, and respiration are reducing stress hormones in the body. And then as you add coordination, you're increasing connections between different parts of the brain and the body that allow the body to move more efficiently through the world. So if you're not that coordinated, maybe yoga doesn't end up being a thing for you, but it's definitely important for you to learn how to breathe, for your child to learn how to breathe, even if it's using bubbles or a blow toy, blowing a feather off of their hand, or blowing a ping pong ball across the table, even just something that gets your child breathing. We're not asking them to take a deep breath and do meditation every day. Many children aren't there yet. Many children need the activity to be fun and engaging, as well as physiologically beneficial for them. So if your child can't breathe, that ends up being on your goal list, but not a de-stressor. If your child leans into things that give them pressure, like heavy blankets or big hugs or piling animals on top of them, then making sure that you're doing activities that allow time for that, as well as maybe activities that allow for opportunities to get pressure through resistive movement, like pedaling a bicycle, or jumping up and down on a trampoline. Those things also provide rhythm and pressure simultaneously and have an organizing effect on the body and the nervous system to reduce stress. Now, the second type of exercise that's really important to do during the day is exercise that gives you energy to your brain. And that's anything that increases your heart rate and that activates your vestibular system through doing little direction changes, tipping your head up and down, doing things that increase alertness and activation to the brain that also speed up heart rate. And by the way, just doing head tipping and turning, the vestibular system sends a message to increase your heart rate. So it's not just about doing strenuous exercise. You can actually raise your heart rate in a much more subtle way frequently throughout the day just by using these movements. Now, the reason we need to do these kinds of movements, the reason we need to raise our heart rate is not just for cardiovascular health, but because it actually releases something called brain derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. And that is what promotes growth in the brain. And when we get that hormone released, we're actually helping the brain make new connections and build connections in the brain that are going to help wire us for more efficient movement and more skilled tasks in the future. Now, it's even better if this type of movement is also goal directed, or if you're doing something that involves some sort of goal. So, for example, maybe It's hitting the ball against the wall and practicing your tennis skills. All of your attention and focus is on the ball as you're trying to hit it against the wall. Or maybe you're using a little kid's blow dart and you're blowing at a target that's across the room, or you're playing blow dart tag where you're racing around and your heart rate's going up, but you're simultaneously breathing deeply, trying to hit the other person with the little spongy blow dart. I definitely, when I play that game, the rule is always that it needs to hit you below the neck or it doesn't count. But the point that I'm trying to make is that different exercises have different impacts on the body, and we need both exercises that are going to reduce stress and be calming to the body, as well as exercises that promote connections in the brain, stimulate the release of BDNF, and also guide us towards the development of more exercises and activities that have goals to them. This is more than just doing sit ups or push ups or something that gives you strength, but actually pushing your body to be adaptable in the moment, to focus on a goal, and working memory and goal directed behavior, so that those are the skills that children can go into the world with, that will be skills for life to help them become more independent and better able to adapt to the demands of the world around them. And in that way, we're not just managing anxiety, we're not just reducing stress, we're also increasing a child's capacity to succeed. And that is what's going to ultimately promote a significant improvement in their mental health, their confidence, and their desire to go out into the world and use their gifts to make an impact.